Hey, is the military screwing over its people? Is it paying the people well, appropriately? Are they doing what they should be doing responsibly with taking care of our military? I've had two son-in-laws in the military, and I was really surprised when they got into the military. And so oftentimes, guys are going in the military because they think they're going to have some kind of financial win, some kind of, some kind of financial security. But is it really secure? And at what point does it become more secure? So we're going to be talking about today money and the military, so that maybe there's a few people out there that are going to have their eyes a little bit more wide open as they think about entering the military, and or is there something we can do about it? And or the fact is if they're not being paid well, how to prevent some of the major pitfalls, because there seems to be some patterns that happen with men and women that enter the military as far as what they do with their finances. We have like thousands and tens of thousands of military clients from all over the world. And one of the major things that they've benefited from the most is learning how to manage their finances and not to fall into the pit that so many of them have. In fact, Chad and Summer Tucker, every time her husband went into, he was in the Air Force, and every single time he got deployed, which he was deployed for 10 years off and on, they went further and further in debt. And she all of a sudden just went, we can't do this anymore. They used to like go on a cruise right before he went, before he went over to, the Middle East, and they finally just said no more. And actually right before he left on his last deployment, they came to first steps to success. And out of that 3-day event, they both went, okay, it is really time. This time when you're deployed, let's pay off debt. This time when you're deployed, let's not buy a new car. Let's not buy a bunch of new stuff. Let's get really responsible financially, and let's try to build a business while her husband was deployed. And they did this. And literally, they paid off 6 figures worth of debt in less than 2 years and grew their income on a little side business from $65 a month to $65,000 a month. He obviously was able to retire from the military, and now they're both working together in a business. And so, and paid off all of that debt. So rather than going further into debt, they got on top financially. And so this is the thing that I've seen amongst the military that we've encountered anyway, is that debt is like huge. And one of the ways that they kind of deal with their deployments or deal with the stress of not being with their family is spend, which is not wise. So we've got Shavon from New Jersey that has called in to give us some comments about his opinion concerning the military and whether or not the military is totally taking advantage of our servants, honestly, and our warriors who are out there on the front lines. So Shavon, welcome to the show.
Thank you. It's the girl.
Nice. Sorry.
So that's okay. So
that happens to me, by the way, too, with Danny. Happens to me all the time.
I know, right?
Yeah.
I know, right? So my husband was in the military, and I'm also the daughter of a retired military person. So I've seen it as a child as well as a wife.
Okay, so tell us the truth.
So to be honest, what they do is you graduate from high school. Most of the military men or women are coming straight from high school. Mm-hmm. So they don't know how to budget or anything from the beginning because they're kids. So
wait, time out. Is it because they're kids, or is it because their parents failed to teach them how to manage finances?
Yes, and I do believe that. And that's the problem is that most of them that are going straight from home into the military are going because they're not in a financially sound home to begin with. So they obviously, a lot of them come, and that's someone who lives in San Diego, where the whole area is almost a military base.
Yeah.
That they bring them into the military. They come from mostly a poor environment, as my husband did, and they're struggling all their entire life. So they're looking for a place for room, board, and to give them a better way.
Yeah.
So now they're going into the military. They're getting room and board and 3 meals a day, and then they're getting $300 every 2 weeks. Is the average of what an E1 to an E3 was making back in the 90s, let's say, when my husband was in, without kids or wife or anything.
Wow.
So now you're used to not having to pay any bills, So what they're doing is they take their $300 and they blow it because they don't have to pay bills. So now, again, they're not learning to pay bills. There's no conversation about how to budget your money. Every corner, there is a place that all you need is your W-2, and there's payday loans on every corner like a 7-Eleven.
Yep.
So if you do blow through your money, you can always take a payday loan and borrow off next week's paycheck, so you're always in the hole.
Wow.
And then you get married, and then you have to do the same thing over and over again. So we struggle most of our early years in marriage because it was a sick cycle that continued because you never got anything or any rules of, hey, you're 18 years old, you might not know, but there's some financial planning classes. But let me tell you about it. And then you renew your contract, you get a $6,000 bonus check, and you go
and you blow it.
Clothes and shoes
and
but
you know
all
what?
the stuff you couldn't afford.
Exactly. But Siobhan, this is what I found to be really interesting. So when my son-in-law entered the military, he had to buy his own uniforms. And these were expensive. Like you have to buy your dress uniform. You have to buy, I don't know what you call the other uniform, the camouflage uniform, your own boots. And this stuff is not cheap. Like there isn't like a discount. Like someone's making money on the uniforms. They're not selling to them wholesale. They're charging full retail for these uniforms, and these kids don't have any money. So I mean, that blew my mind. Like, oh, okay, you are required to wear this, and by the way, you got to buy it. Like, what?
Yes.
You got to be kidding me. And you got to buy it from this supplier. They're totally making profit on that thing. I mean, I'm not stupid. These things are expensive. What they're charging, but they're not that expensive to make. I mean, in some of the uniforms, yes, but not their dress uniform. Give me a break. Anyway, I literally have watched that same exact thing that you're talking about, this horrible trap. And I beg to differ. I know people who came from I know some very smart kids who came from very provided for homes that have entered the military also. So I don't know that it's just all those who come from poverty. I've seen some, kids that graduated with 4.0s who grew up in homes that were six-figure homes that chose to enter the military. And same thing. Like the bottom line is that us parents, I'm saying us as a whole, we taught our kids how to manage their money. Whether or not they choose to follow those directions is totally on their own head. But the bottom line is our school system and the parents have failed to teach the kids how to manage money. But instead, the parents are living foolishly financially. The teachers are living foolishly financially. And so therefore, the kids are living foolishly financially. And the saddest part about this is what you said. They're pretty sure they're like, okay, room, board, I got $300 a week or whatever it is now. And they don't even realize that, dude, that's going to like slip away like nothing. And these people end up with a crazy amount of debt. We've got Anita from Missouri next. Anita, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you for inviting me.
Yes.
Yeah, we actually have a different experience. My husband did not go into the military until he was 38 years old, and so he was sitting with me one night, and we were talking about our regrets in life, and he told me he had two regrets. One of them was not joining the military when he got out of college, and the second regret was something else. And so I told him, I said, you know what, here's the deal. You are not going to blame it on me or the kids. We're going to be fine. If this is a dream and you feel like it's in your heart to go out and serve our country, then you need to go and do it.
Wow.
And so he went and he decided instead of joining as an officer that he could, because of his degree, he decided to go full-blown and enlist at the age of 58. So he went to boot camp and the whole bit.
Wow.
And that was in his heart. And as far as money is concerned, it wasn't always about the money for us. It was about what was in his heart and about serving. There are certain challenges that we've experienced with the military. We're in the Kansas National Guard, and he's now a captain. And obviously there is some concerns about the way that the military does. I do think that they can tweak some of the things that they do regarding how much time they require of people, especially who are part-time. I know he's spent hours and hours and hours doing extra work and doesn't get paid for it.
Yeah.
And all of that. So from that is the downside. But the upside is it's really helped us our insurance. We love the military insurance. It's been a positive thing for our family and has helped shave some of the costs that we would have had to pay because we're both self-employed now. And so we utilize that and tap into those resources as well. So it's great. He does say that they do have financial planning resources. He's never tapped into them before, but he does say that the military have resources to help people that need help.
That would be like, what, you know what's so sad is why don't people tap into that? I mean, I think that's actually, that's admirable that the military actually offers that, that they're offering, well, I don't know about financial planning. Usually that means financial selling of different types of programs for retirement and stuff like that. But I hope there's some kind of financial, like, budgeting, like personal budgeting, and teaching them personally how to become investors with a small portion of their money and avoiding going into debt, things like that. Anita, thank you so much for sharing. I really appreciate it. And look at that, was perfect. He's 38 years old. He graduated from college. He was doing good. He didn't enter the military for the same reason that Siobhan had showed. So we have, both sides of the fence here, that it doesn't matter what someone's economic status is, both are entering in the military. But the bottom line is this, is that if you are in the military and you are doing what I have personally watched so many of them do, and why so many thousands of them have wound up with us at First Steps to Success for a 3-day intensive boot camp seminar to help them with their work life, with their finances, and with their relationships, is because they have fallen into that trap. Check this out. A recent survey found that 27% of service members had more than $10,000 in credit card debt compared to 16% of the civilians. So it's like 11% more military people have more debt than more that are $10,000 in debt, more so than people who are not military. So I don't know if that's because of what they make, because I know that they've got plenty of other options. There's some people in the military, they take advantage of every possible option that is available to them, whether it's education, it's the insurance, it's the financial planning, the housing. They take advantage of everything, and also moving themselves up quicker so that they can get more pay. And then there are those that choose not to do those things. They choose not to, which is a sad thing. So I say this, if you are military or you have a child looking to get into the military, go in with your eyes wide open and be wise with what you're doing. I have a young lady that we've watched grow up who just now lives an hour away from us now, who's in the military. She's in the Army. She's an itty bitty little 5'1.5". At least that's what she says. Itty bitty little tiny thing. And she's a captain in the Army, man. She's just like a little bulldog. And one of the things that I've talked to her about is like, hello, watch your finances. Debt cannot be an option. Don't live above your means. Live well below your means. Be wise in this area, because it's like this. It kind of seems that part of the culture of it is I'm going to spend, man. I'm risking my life, so I'm going to spend. And so it's kind of I'm living today. I'm alive today, so I'm going to spend whatever I want today. Don't be stupid financially, friend. Listen, it doesn't matter how much you make. What matters is how much you keep. So even if you're in the military, you will be able, friend. You will be able to become financially independent. Don't allow your income, or what you think the lack of income that you have, to determine your future. I promise you, I know people who make a very modest salary, and on that very modest salary have been able to accumulate $1 million. You're like, how do they do that? Because they've learned, first of all, to keep a portion of it. So you still can live on 70% of your income. Go ahead and take 10%. Give it to those who are truly in need. I'm talking about the extreme poor or those that are being sex trafficked. Take the other 10% or if you have debt, take 10% towards debt, and then take the other 10% and start to learn to invest. Start to invest in yourself, to learn how to make investments for your future. You'll be amazed how quickly the money will accumulate and how you can multiply that money. The key is getting your money to work for you. Listen, I'm a former homeless cocktail waitress, friend. I did not come from great lavish amounts of money. I came from poverty. I grew up on welfare till I was 12, 13 years old. And so growing up on welfare, I had every bad financial training you could imagine. Parents fighting about money all the time, right? Always running out of money. Sometimes dinner was Wonder Bread with margarine and garlic salt on top because there was no money left and there was no food left. And so the facts are, no matter what kind of financial situation you're in right now, you can flip that sucker around if you're willing to learn, you're willing to try, and you're willing to work hard. If you're willing to do those three things and you're willing to come out of how most of the people think in your sector, meaning military, if you're willing to go, okay, well, 98% of the people that are in the military, they end up broke. I don't want to end up broke. You don't want to be broke, and you don't want to be like the rest of them. So don't be weak-minded and come into like peer pressure because this guy's buying this and this guy's buying that and that gal's buying this and that and they're going on all these vacations. Listen to me now, friend. You do not want to get suckered in to the 98% who are suffering financially, who are literally suffering, who are racking up debts like crazy. Oh, they've got a few toys, but look at the debt that is behind the toy, the pressure. You got enough pressure on your job. You've got enough pressure even on your future. Every day you're risking your life for a nation. Do not risk your future as well, or even your family as well. Because listen, friend, you might have, you might live to be 100 years old. You don't want to live in a suffering because of bad financial choices that you're making today. So listen, here's what I have for you. If you are watching this for the first time, you are military. I want to help you come out of what the majority of the military is living like, and I want to help you become financially independent. This is for you. If you go over to DannyJohnson.com right now, you can get a copy of this. You can download it right off of our website. It's a full book, and it's going to show you step by step how I went from total poverty and no income to making my first $1 million within 2 years on a very part-time basis and making millions and millions since then. Go to the website, DannyJohnson.com, get a hold of this, and just follow the steps that are inside of this. You're military. You know how to follow steps. This is simple for you. You can do this just as Chad and Summer Tucker did, just like Gabriel and his wife Alyssa did, who now are making crazy amounts of money and paid off $360,000 worth of debt. You can do it too. It's all inside of this. Go to DannyJohnson.com, get a hold of First Steps to Wealth, get your copy today, and start living a life that you're going to have peace and knowing and security and knowing that you're going to win bigger than all the other guys that you're working with and gals. Other than that, thanks so much for watching today. God bless you, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
If this episode was an encouragement to you, go to DannyJohnson.com and share it with your friends now. You never know who else needs to hear it. This has been The Danny Johnson Show. Join us every weekday at 7 a.m. for more insights that will help you get to the life you've always wanted.